Have you ever found yourself, nodding along in an English conversation? You understand every single word, but you still feel like you're missing something, like the unspoken cues, the real rhythm of how native speakers actually talk.
Oh, absolutely. That's a common feeling.
It's like you've learned the notes, maybe, but not the melody, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And what often surprises learners is that natural English isn't just about vocabulary lists and grammar rules. It's really woven from this rich tapestry of short, informal phrases, yeah,
hmm
and also these subtle phonetic adjustments.
Phonetic adjustments.
Yeah, like tiny changes in sounds. And these aren't just, linguistic shortcuts people take because they're lazy. They are actually fundamental components for efficient, natural conversation. And crucially, they help build connection, show you're friendly, and convey your real intent.
Okay, so that's our mission today on the deep dive. We want to give you a genuine shortcut to understanding and hopefully using these essential everyday expressions. But we're not just going to list phrases. We want to unveil the secret sauce behind sounding truly natural, what we're calling the music of the language.
I like that, the music.
Yeah. And we've pulled our insights from some great sources, especially looking at the core principles in mastering informal English. Phrases for natural conversation. Okay, let's really unpack this then. What is it that makes spoken English sound so, well, different sometimes? Different from written English or even really formal speech. It's clearly more than just stringing individual words together one after another.
It really is. And it's absolutely about efficiency.
Yeah.
Deficiency in communication. Our mouths, our vocal cords, they naturally seek the path of least resistance,
Makes sense.
Yeah. And this leads to subtle phonetic adjustments. Changes in sound. There are really three key things happening that give English its distinct flow.
hmm
Reductions, linking sounds, sometimes called connected speech, and intonation pattern.
Okay.
If you can get a handle on these, you're not just speaking English, you're starting to sound English.
All right, so let's break those down. Reductions first.
Yeah, let's start with reductions. Native speakers, we constantly shorten words and phrases pretty much unconsciously. Think about going to. It almost always
Yeah.
becomes gonna,
Right, gonna,
or want to becomes wanna.
wanna,
And got to often sounds like gotta.
gotta. Okay, those are huge ones.
They are. And if you speak without these common reductions, it can actually sound a bit choppy, maybe mechanical, a bit like, early computer speech.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can hear that.
And it can also accidentally make you sound quite formal, or maybe even a bit demanding, which might create distance when you don't mean to.
Interesting.
And beyond those big three, gonna, wanna, gotta, you'll constantly hear others like kinda for kinda,
Kinda.
or dunno for don't know,
Dunno. Yeah.
maybe even shoulda for should've. Like I shoulda called first. It's not lazy speaking. It's just how we make our speech flow more smoothly, more efficiently.
So it's not really about speed, it's more about minimizing effort while hopefully still being clear. That's actually a huge insight.
Precisely.
Hmm.
And the second thing is linking sounds, or connected speech.
Hmm.
Words hardly ever sound isolated in natural conversation. They just flow into one another.
Okay.
The most common type is consonant to vowel linking. That's where a word ending in a consonant sound just merges right into the next word if it starts with a vowel sound.
Ah, okay. Like.
So I like it.
Yeah.
Instead of sounding like three separate words, it effortlessly becomes I like it.
I like it. Yeah, I hear that.
Or pick it up, sounds like pee-pee tap.
Peaky tap. Wow, okay.
If you pause between those words, it really can sound unnatural.
Yeah.
Then there's vowel-to-vowel linking, sometimes called intrusion. That's where a tiny little W or Y sound gets inserted between two vowel sounds just to smooth the transition.
With a little bridge sound?
Exactly. So
That
go
might-
on might subtly sound like go one.
Or one, okay.
Or I agree might get a tiny I sound, almost like I agree. It's very subtle. And finally, there's assimilation. This is fascinating.
Yeah.
This is where sounds actually change completely when they're next to each other.
They change.
Yeah. Like did you, very frequently that becomes did ya.
Did ya? Yes, like, did you get the mail?
Exactly. Or don't you often becomes don't ya. Like don't you think so?
Don't you? Wow, okay, I hear that all the time. Did you grab the keys? It suddenly makes so much sense why it's hard to catch those individual words sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like they're just blended into one smooth sound.
Exactly. And this blending is often helped along by the schwa sound.
The schwa.
Yeah, that's the Terrian, like the A in about or the O in today. It's the most common vowel sound in English
Why is that?
because it's the absolute easiest vowel sound to make. It requires almost no effort from your mouth. total relaxation.
Ah, efficiency again.
Exactly. You'll find it mainly in unstressed syllables. Lots of common little function words like the, for, from, they frequently just reduce down to a schwa. It acts like the glue that helps sentences flow.
So give me an example.
Think of a lot of. It often becomes ooh la
A lotta, yeah.
or fish and chips. Might sound like fish and chips. The and just becomes yar or even just n. It's the sound of ultimate linguistic efficiency.
It's literally the in every conversation. Okay, and then there's the music part we mentioned, intonation patterns. How the rise and fall of your voice changes everything.
Oh, it truly does. Intonation carries so much meaning in motion. Your intent as the speaker, often more powerfully than the actual words you choose.
How so?
Well, for instance, falling intonation. Your voice goes down at the end. That's typical for statements, commands, and what questions, like what, where, when. It signals certainty or finality, like what time does the phone finish, down at the end.
Okay, down for statements and way questions.
Right. But rising intonation, your voice goes up. That's typically used for yes-no questions.
Like, is it raining out?
Exactly. It also indicates uncertainty or surprise or even politeness when you're making requests. The difference between saying, I'm fine, with a falling tone.
Meaning, I am okay.
Certain. Right. Versus, I'm fine, with a rising tone.
Meaning, are you asking if I'm fine? Or am I really fine? Questioning.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference. And if you use the wrong intonation, it can really lead to misunderstandings or, unintended social signals.
We're like sounding rude when you don't mean to.
Exactly. Or sarcastic, or maybe unsure when you're actually certain. It's just as crucial as vocabulary for communicating effectively. Really understanding why words get reduced or linked and how intonation shapes meaning, it dramatically helps your listening comprehension.
Yeah, I can see that.
It transforms learning from just memorizing lists into like an intuitive understanding of how speech actually works.
You start hearing the connections in the music, not just the individual notes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
So let's move from the mechanics to the actual phrases then. What does all this mean for just starting a chat naturally? What are some of those really key informal greetings and conversation starters?
Right, well, informal greetings are basically your first signal of rapport, of connection. And misjudging the level of informality here can definitely lead to some awkwardness. Yeah, you don't want to be too formal with a friend or too casual with a boss, right?
Exactly. So take a super common one. How's it going?
Okay, how's it going?
It's a casual way to ask, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's a bit broader.
Yeah.
It's less about your physical health maybe and more about, how's your day? How are things generally?
Mm-hmm.
And often a simple, good, you, or fine, thanks, how about you, is the expected reply.
Yeah.
It highlights a sort of cultural preference for brevity in these casual openings.
So not a long story about your morning commute.
Probably not, unless they ask follow-up questions and listen for the pronunciation. Going often reduces to go in. How's it going?
How's it going? Got it. Okay, what else?
Another really common one, even more informal, is what's up.
Ah, what's up? Yeah.
This is very informal. You
Yeah.
use it mainly with friends or people you know well. It's
Yeah.
basically asking what's happening now or what are you doing?
So if a friend texts, what's up?
You might reply, not much, just chilling, or just watching TV, or heading to the store, things like that. But be aware, it can also be used to ask if something is wrong. Like if someone looks sad, you might say, hey, you look upset. What's up?
Ah, context is key there.
Definitely. And pronunciation-wise, this one gets reduced even further sometimes. You might hear just sup,
Sup. Yeah, very slangy.
or even was up, though that feels maybe a bit dated now, but you still hear it sometimes.
Okay. And if you bump into someone you haven't seen in ages?
Ah, yes. Long time no see. That's the classic.
Long time no see. Universally understood, pretty much.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
warm, it's informal, perfect for acknowledging that gap. Another nice one for someone you know, but maybe you haven't seen in a while, is just good to see you, or nice seeing you.
Which is different from nice to meet you.
Totally different. Nice to meet you is strictly for the very first time you meet someone. Good to see you implies you already know them.
Okay, good distinction. And for meeting someone new, besides nice to meet you,
Two really essential ones are, what do you do?
to ask about their job.
Exactly. It's the standard, polite way to ask about someone's profession or work. And where are you from? Just a basic, friendly icebreaker to learn a bit about their background.
Simple but effective. Okay, so those help start things off.
Yeah, they're all part of that social toolkit for kicking off an interaction smoothly.
So, beyond the initial greetings, how do we smooth out those everyday interactions? The little things, navigating daily tags, or just making a bit of small talk. You called them conversational lubricants earlier.
Huh. Yes, I did. And they truly are. These little phrases, they signal understanding or agreement or polite attention really efficiently. And they're vital for just keeping things friendly, maintaining social harmony.
Okay, like what? Give me an example.
Well, think about, excuse me.
Excuse me. Okay.
It's incredibly versatile, isn't it? You use it to get someone's attention politely.
Like, excuse me, do you know the time?
Exactly. Or you use it to apologize for a minor inconvenience, like needing to get past someone.
Excuse me, sorry, I just need to squeeze through here.
Perfect. Or you can even use it to signal you didn't quite hear what someone said.
Like, sorry, excuse me, could you say that again?
Right. Its usefulness is just how adaptable it is across all these small social moments.
So it's way more than just an apology. It's a real social tool. Okay. What about when someone says sorry to you or thanks you and you want to say, it's okay?
Yeah. That's where no worries or no problem come in.
No worries. No problem. Very common.
Super common. They're informal ways to say, that's all right, or don't worry about it, or forget about it, usually in response to a quick thank you or sorry.
So if I accidentally bump into you, I say, oh, sorry.
I'd likely say, oh, no worries, or no problem at all. It just sounds much more casual and friendly than a formal, you are welcome in that context.
Right. Is there a time when no worries isn't quite right?
Well, maybe in a very formal business meeting or speaking to someone very senior you don't know well, it might sound a little too casual maybe. In those cases, sticking to you're welcome or perhaps my pleasure might be safer. But for everyday stuff, no worries is perfect.
Okay, that's a great tip. And what about agreeing to a plan or an idea?
Simple. Just sounds good
Ugh.
or sounds great.
So efficient.
Totally. They're used to show you agree with a suggestion and you're happy with it, you're interested. If I said, hey, we could meet for dinner around 7, how does that
To
sound?
just say, sounds great, or, yeah, sounds good to me.
Exactly. And notice the intonation usually falls. Sounds good. It's a statement of agreement. It signals you're decided. If you said, sounds good, with rising intonation, it might sound like you're not sure.
The music again. Okay. Any others in this daily tasks category?
Oh, loads. How about will do?
Will do, meaning...
Meaning, I will do that. It's a short positive confirmation when someone asks you to do something. Like, could you grab some milk on your way home?
Will do.
Perfect. Or just a sec. Or just a moment.
Meaning, wait, briefly?
Exactly. I'll be right there just a sec. And another useful one is saying, you're feeling under the weather.
Meaning you're feeling a bit sick.
Yeah, not seriously ill, but just not feeling 100%. I think I'll stay home today feeling a bit under the weather.
Yeah.
It's a common, slightly indirect way to say you're unwell.
Okay, under the weather. Good one. These are really the nuts and bolts of daily chat, aren't they?
They really are. Little phrases that make a big difference to the flow.
Okay, now here's a part I think gets really interesting for a lot of learners. How can you share your thoughts, your opinions, your feelings naturally in English without sounding, too direct, maybe too strong, or even accidentally rude?
Yes, this is such a critical area for navigating social dynamics smoothly. Because while being very direct, maybe disagreeing bluntly, can be okay with really close friends or family.
Yeah, you can say, no, that's a terrible idea to your best mate.
Exactly. But in many other situations, maybe at work or with acquaintances, there's often a strong preference for softening things, using slightly more indirect approaches to maintain rapport, to keep things friendly.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you soften?
Well, the most basic way is simply framing your opinion as your opinion. So instead of stating something as a fact, you introduce it with phrases like, I think.
I think this is a good movie.
Right. Or, I believe, which is maybe slightly stronger or more formal. Or, I feel, which often relates more to emotions or gut feelings.
I feel this might be difficult.
Exactly. These are basic, yes, but they're powerful because they signal that what follows is your perspective, your viewpoint, not necessarily the absolute truth. And you can strengthen them if you need to with words like really or strongly.
Like, I really think we should go, or I strongly believe this is the right choice.
Perfect. Just adds that layer of acknowledging subjectivity.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about presenting it as your view. But what if you have a different idea or you disagree, but you really don't want to sound confrontational?
Ah, yes. A brilliant phrase for this is, actually, I thought.
Actually, I thought. How does that work?
Well, the word actually here works as a softener. It gently signals that you're about to introduce a different piece of information or a slightly different perspective. And using I thought makes it sound like your idea might just be based on your own understanding, perhaps implying there could have been a misunderstanding.
So it's less direct than saying you're wrong.
Much less direct. So if you said to me, so the meeting's at 2 p.m., right? I could reply, actually, I thought it was at 3.
Ah, I see. It corrects me, but gently. It leaves room for maybe I was wrong about the time I told you.
Exactly. It avoids a direct contradiction. It's much softer, much more polite in many contexts than just saying, no, it's at 3.
That's incredibly useful. Actually, I thought, okay, storing that one away. And for the opposite, for strong agreement.
Oh, easy ones there.
Yeah.
Definitely is a great strong agreement.
Should we get pizza? Definitely.
Yep, or absolutely. Or if you really strongly agree, I couldn't agree more.
I couldn't agree more, meaning you completely agree.
Exactly. Now, on the flip side, a very common informal way to introduce a counter-argument or a slightly different point is, yeah, but.
Yeah, but. The classic friendly disagreement starter.
Pretty much. It acknowledges the previous point
Yeah.
before introducing a contrast or objection, but.
Yeah.
Like, that restaurant is good, yeah, but don't you think it's a bit expensive?
Okay. So it softens the disagreement by starting with agreement.
Right. And another slightly more formal, but still very common way to frame your viewpoint is simply, in my opinion.
In my opinion, we should wait.
Perfect. Clear, polite, frames it as your view. So you've got lots of options for sharing thoughts without causing friction.
Okay, moving on. What about when you need help? You need someone to do something for you. What's the natural, polite way to ask in informal English? Because, as you said, you really don't want to just bark out, help me.
You're absolutely right. Again, informal English often prioritizes indirectness to convey politeness when you're making requests. Direct commands like help me or give me that are generally avoided, especially with people you don't know very well, because they don't give the listener much choice. They can feel pressured.
Right, you want to give them an easy way to say no, almost?
Kind of, yeah. Or at least make the request feel less like an order. So while can you help me is perfectly fine, it's quite direct.
Okay, can you help me is acceptable, but direct.
Yes. You'll very often hear could you instead. Could is generally considered a bit more polite than can when making requests.
So, could you help me is a bit softer.
A bit softer, yes. And for physical help, a really common phrase is, could you give me a hand with something?
Give me a hand, meaning help me physically.
Often, yeah, like lifting something or carrying something.
Yeah.
Could you give me a hand with this box? It's really heavy.
Okay. And you mentioned pronunciation linking earlier. Could you often becomes.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Very often it reduces to coulda. Coulda. Yeah. So could you give me a hand with this box? That sounds very natural and fast.
Could you give me a hand? Wow, that could you reduction really changes the sound. Okay. And if it's maybe a bigger favor, or you want to be extra polite.
Then a fantastic phrase is, I was wondering if.
I was wondering if. That sounds very indirect.
It is. It's a very polite way to phrase a question or a request. It signals that you're just thinking about it, just considering the possibility, which makes it very easy for the other person to potentially decline without feeling awkward.
How does it usually continue?
Often it's followed by I could or you could, often using the past tense like could or might for extra politeness, for example. I was wondering if I could borrow your notes for a bit.
Ah, okay. Much softer than, can I borrow your notes?
Much softer. Or, I was wondering if you could possibly give me a lift tomorrow. The possibly adds even more softness. It explicitly leaves room for the other person to say, oh, sorry, I can't, making the request feel much less demanding.
That's a really good one for more significant requests. What about just starting a request when you have to interrupt someone?
A very common way to do that politely is, sorry to bother you, but...
Sorry to bother you, but could you tell me where the station is?
Exactly. It acknowledges that you might be interrupting or inconveniencing them, which shows consideration. Another really gentle way to ask for permission is, do you mind if...
Do you mind if I open the window?
Perfect. Or, do you mind if I sit here? It directly asks if your action would cause them any problem.
Okay, so many ways to ask for things without sounding demanding. It really is about softening the request.
That's the key principle, really. Politeness through indirectness.
Okay, last section then. You've had a great conversation. Maybe you run into someone unexpectedly, but now you need to leave. How do you make a graceful exit? A soft landing, as you put it earlier, and not just like turn and walk away or abruptly say goodbye.
Right. Ending conversations well is actually quite a skill in English. It often involves this sort of soft landing strategy, as we said. You don't just stop. There are usually little rituals involved.
Rituals. Like what?
Often things like making positive comments about the interaction, maybe expressing thanks if appropriate, and often including some kind of offer or wish for future connection, all to maintain those positive social ties.
So just saying goodbye on its own can be a bit...
It can sound quite blunt or abrupt, yeah. Especially in informal chats, it's often preceded or replaced by other phrases.
Okay, so what are some common friendly ways to signal you're leaving?
Well, a real classic for a friendly exit is "see you later" or "see you soon."
See you later. See you soon.
These are pretty informal goodbyes, especially if you genuinely expect you might see the person again, maybe not immediately, but in the near future. So you might say, "Okay, well, I've got to go now. See you later."
And the other person might just say, yeah, see ya.
Exactly. "See ya" is the even more reduced casual form of "see you later." It's short, sweet, and keeps that connection open.
Okay. And another one I hear constantly all the time is, have a good one.
Oh, absolutely. "Have a good one" is so useful because it's so versatile.
What does the one refer to?
It refers to whatever period of time is coming next. It could be have a good day, have a good evening, have a good weekend, have a good one. Covers all of them. It's a perfect, informal farewell wish.
So as you're leaving work, you could say to colleagues, right, I'm off, have a good one.
Totally normal.
Yeah.
And the standard reply is usually just, "Thanks, you too," or simply "you too."
Simple.
No?
Okay. And what if you need to actually state that you need to leave, maybe a bit more explicitly?
Right. You need to signal the departure is imminent.
Mm-hmm.
Very common ways to do this informally are, "I've got to run," or "I need to go," or "I have to head out."
Okay, I've got to rent. We know gotta is got to.
Yep. It implies you need to leave fairly quickly.
And I have to head out. Head out just means leave.
Exactly. To head out is a very common phrasal verb, meaning to leave or depart. So you might say, "Hey, it was really nice talking, but I've got to run." Or, "Okay, I should probably head out now." Another similar one is, "I better get going."
I'd better get going. That also implies it's time to leave.
Yeah, it suggests it's the appropriate or necessary time for you to depart. And then, to make the landing really soft and leave a positive feeling,
What do you add?
you couple your departure signal with those positive comments we mentioned. Phrases like, "It was nice talking to you," or "It was good seeing you."
Okay. So, well, I'd better get going. It was really nice talking to you.
Perfect. And if you want to keep the door open for future contact, you can add something like, "Let's catch up again soon."
Let's catch up soon, meaning let's talk or meet again.
Exactly. It ensures a warm, friendly, open-ended exit, even if you don't have concrete plans. It just reinforces the connection.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about ending on a positive note.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, the main takeaway, I think, is that mastering informal English is really about so much more than just knowing the words on the page.
Right.
It's crucially about how those words are said, the flow, the rhythm, the subtle sounds, those reductions, the linking, the intonation patterns. They aren't just, random quirks.
They have a purpose.
Exactly. They are fundamental elements. They reflect this drive for efficiency in speech, but they also carry so much meaning, emotion, politeness, subtle social cues. Understanding them helps you be more efficient yourself, yes, but also to truly express your intentions clearly and, just as importantly, to understand the real meaning behind what other people are saying to you.
Absolutely. It unlocks a whole other layer of communication. So our challenge to you, the listener, is to really start actively listening for these patterns when you hear native speakers.
Don't just hear the words.
Listen for the music. Try to notice the gonas and wanas, the dijas, the way voices rise and fall, and then maybe try imitating them a little.
Yeah, practice.
Try using a few of these phrases we talked about, and importantly, try using their associated sounds, their pronunciation, in your next English conversation. And please, please remember, making mistakes is totally normal. It's a really valuable part of the learning journey. So embrace it. Don't be afraid to sound a bit funny at first.
Absolutely. It's how you learn.
So what does all this mean for you? Ultimately, it means unlocking richer, more authentic, and definitely more meaningful interactions in English. Understanding and using this music isn't just about sounding like a native speaker. Maybe that's not even your goal.
Right.
It's more about making sure your true intentions, your feelings, your politeness are actually heard and understood. And equally, that you can grasp the nuances in how others communicate with you.
Well said.
So here's our final thought. How will you start listening differently after today? And how might you begin incorporating some of these natural sounds and phrases into your own English starting now.
Before you go, remember this. Every word you learn makes you stronger. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. You'll find more lessons, more stories, and more English practice to help you feel confident in any situation. Don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who might need it. Let's keep learning together. See you in the next lesson.